Hello and welcome to the Ozone. I'm Oscar Alonzo. Before we jump in head first into the empty pool that is DEATHMATE RED, allow me to apologize for this review taking so long to get done. Things come up and they need to be addressed. So, let's get it started. Now, if you're my age, you probably remember Image Comics and Valiant Comics coming together for an interpromotional crossover known as DEATHMATE. Now, this was the two quote-unquote independent companies' way of more or less giving the finger to Marvel and DC Comics. Mind you, this was like the hottest thing on the market at the time. People actually will sit there and admit that the DEATHMATE promotion, the ad campaign, is one of the milestone moments in comic book history. Besides all the controversy as to how this illustrious interpromotional crossover happened, mind you, Wikipedia, and you'll see like 3 different stories. Let's go ahead and jump into the most controversial one of them all, because apparently Bob Layton, the head writer for the series, had to wait outside Rob Liefeld's doorstep waiting for him to finish the pencils for it. So let's go ahead and jump into DEATHMATE RED. What more could be said about the cover itself, mind you? For its time, it's pretty much generic. Screaming Man syndrome in full effect. 2 guys jumping at you with one guy shooting arrows, the other guy with a gun. Mind you, the guy in red is Shaft, the leader of Youngblood, representing Image Comics, and the guy to his right is, of course, Bloodshot, representing Valiant Comics. Now, I won't lie to you, I don't know jack shit about Bloodshot, except that maybe if we switch some heads around, yep, there we go, it's Cable. Mind you, the first 2 pages of this comic is more or less your cliche talking heads. They're giving you the exposition for today's plot, being that protester terrorists, and yes, I said protester terrorists, have taken over a nuclear power plant. A power plant that is owned and operated, mind you, by the Harada Corporation. Owned by Toyo Harada. Don't know who he is? Think of Professor X, except he can walk, has hair, and is Asian. Thanks to the pointless exposition given to us by the talking heads, we're told that Youngblood is en route to take care of the situation. Youngblood, of course, being Toyo Harada's elite guard. That's right, led by none other than Shaft, the leader of Youngblood in the Image universe, but in this universe he's known as Commander Shaft. That's funny.
That's not funny, I worked really hard for that bank.
Shut up. Next, we're introduced to this universe's incarnation of Youngblood, featuring Dutch, Vogue, Die Hard, Bad Rock, and Bloodshot. Not so fast, Bloodshot. There we go, a lot better. Then giving Shaft more exposition to his teammates about what they gotta do when they approach the nuclear power plants. We was all like, oh my god guys, we totally gotta stop them, we'll kill every single one of them, look at my pouches. And then Bad Rock's all like, oh my god, murder. And then Dutch is all like, Vogue's all like, oh my god, I'm a total whore. Oh man, am I even a dude? I don't know. Look at my ass level. All kidding aside, there is a part where Shaft does explain to young Bad Rock how a mission like this would be, well, cake for his dad. When it really throws me off, when he had his own solo series, it was explained that his father was a scientist. And Bad Rock's father is, in fact, MacGyver. So after Shaft is done amping up the young Bad Rock to jump into action head first without looking, I can't help but wonder that this helicopter that Bad Rock is jumping out of looks a little too small to have supported him in the first place. And seriously, no one sees like an 8-foot guy made of rock jump at him from afar, and just now this soldier looks at him and goes, incoming, at the top of his lungs. The next page is pretty cool looking. I will give Rob Liefeld that. It is a Bad Rock crashing through the window with this really mean looking face, and everyone's shocked to see him there with the stereotypical Crash comic book font on top of him. And the next page kind of kills itself, because if anything I learned is the madder Bad Rock gets, the bigger his eyebrows get. Oh yeah, and after this is a 2-page spread by Liefeld again. That's pretty good art, and a little bit on the continuity issues, which I'll bring up later, but you have to turn this one around to look at it appropriately. I hate doing that when the art sucks. After Bad Rock checks back in with Shaft, letting him know that the area is secure, the next member of Youngblood to make his move is Die Hard. Or Captain America. So Die Hard shows up and he starts kicking ass as well, because that's what Youngblood does. They kick ass. And they look like Captain America. Youngblood finally storms the place trying to neutralize the terrorist, and we discover that Vogue is very agile. Yeah, that's hot. So then Dutch takes the lead by doing his thing, I guess, which is killing people with huge guns, and he's all like,
Justice, I am the knight.
Not so fast, Bloodshot. A lot better. So Youngblood gets rudely interrupted in their ass handing to the protester terrorists. That's still funny. By a guy who appears to be holding a detonator in his hand. Or is it gray money? I don't know. And good God, what is the point of the Screaming Man face to begin with? I could see them yelling like this when they're going into battle, but this guy's just spitting out regular dialogue. There's no huge balloon or anything of that nature. It's just him talking, and yet he looks like he's yelling at the top of his lungs. Ah, it's scary. Okay, so this guy's all like, no more pain, I'm gonna blow this stuff up and kill us all, blah, 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 blah. So he like wants a personal audience with Harada, and then it's not gonna happen, and then I don't know, where he gets shot with arrows. It's awesome. So of course the guy who shot him is Shaft, and then he goes ahead and decides to reply for Harada in person. He's all like, yeah, Harada said you dropped dead. Thanks for complying, douche. With the threat neutralized, Youngblood is looked at once again as a group of heroes, and not so fast, Bloodshot. A lot better. Next we're shown someone that was overlooking the entire incident, as we're given as to why through some very informative caption boxes.
Above it all, he watches, he waits. He watches in despair as everything that was once familiar to him twists and changes.
Seriously? He doesn't look like he's in despair to me. Oh yeah, and FYI, this is John Prophet from the Youngblood universe in Image Comics. So John Prophet starts walking away, looking madder than a hornet, probably because he couldn't get a hold of his hairstylist in time for the printing of this comic. Or it's because he knows he's about to get knocked out. Now we're given a cliffhanger ending as John Prophet is taken out by the ass end of someone's rifle. That's right, there's a part 2. Being a child of Image Comics myself, I can't help but have to agree with some of the critics as they say some of these guys can't draw. I, for one, believe Rob Liefeld is not the best artist out there, but he's clearly not the worst also. He's more in between. When it comes to writing, he should stay clear away from a keyboard or a pen and a paper, whatever the case may be. But other than that, it's alright. Now on to his visual continuity issues. Now as seen here in this one page, Die Hard has 2 sets of pouches, one on each leg. Or in this page here, in 3 panels alone, the pouches on the right leg disappear altogether. The same thing goes for the double page spread with Badrock knocking out all the guards. One guard here is clearly in a different uniform than all the others. So I guess that means this poor bastard forgot his uniform at home. I mean, mind you, the story does suck and the art is okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not poor either. Well, that's all I gotta say about DEATHMATE RED Part 1. Sorry it took so long to get done. I mean, what else is there to say about Part 2 of this story? Besides one cool thing. Black dude with a mullet.